It's funny because the podcast, this was never something that I intended on doing. But anyways, welcome guys to episode 46 of the Bearzi podcast. Today we have a fellow YouTuber, my buddy Tristan, also known as MrAntiGambler. He has a YouTube page and he is an anti-gambling activist. So this sort of relates to this whole gambling niche and topic that I've been talking about recently. And the reason why I wanted to have Tristan on was because I was searching across YouTube for other content creators who talk about gambling addiction, but talk about it in an honest way, because I feel like there's a large community of people who are struggling with gambling compulsion, gambling addiction. And I figured that hopefully by having this conversation, we can help someone out there who's in need. So thanks for coming on the pod, bro.
Oh, no problem, man. And I appreciate you having me on here. And my first real podcast ever. So I'm going to be kind of, all over the place. But I've been on a live stream before, but this is my first official podcast. So that's why if I'm kind of speaking up really fast and slowing down and stuff, it's maybe the nerves. But yeah, man, I'm MrAntiGambler. I started my anti-gambling sort of movement or content. When I quit gambling, I had enough, and I said, okay, I got to share my story because this is the second time I self-excluded. So self-excluding, for people who don't know, is when you decide to go to the casino's kind of help booth, and then you tell them to ban yourself from that property, so you're not allowed to be there at all. And it was the second time I did it, and I chose 5 years each time. So
Wow.
the last time I did it, I was just so fed up and angry. I said, man, I got ripped off again. This is insane. And I remember just the misery that was going on. My last few days, just nobody's smiling. Just total misery. And just, when you're there for too long and you're there maybe at nighttime and you start seeing the people who should go home, but they can't. They're totally stuck on the slots. And I just found myself right beside them at all times. And I started to get their story a little bit. And just, man, they kept on talking to me. This old lady, super old, like, but she's like, do you know NG slots? And do you know NG slots? I'm sure you know NG. You don't know NG slots.
NG slots?
NG slots, man. If you don't know NG slots, don't look it up. But he's a famous YouTube slot machine gambler. And
oh my god.
Yeah, man. And I'm like, holy crap. Oh, and she's showing me NG slots. And I'm like, oh, this is nuts. And I know him too because I watched him. He's like a famous YouTube slot machine pusher and Raja slots and stuff. And she was all excited about this. And then I'm thinking of how sad this is and why am I here? When you come to realization, sometimes you part ways with your old self. And that's after losing and hating myself so much in that casino. I'm like, how do I get out of here? And I guess I had to take a bit of like the extremist route in the sense of doing something that you would never do ever, which is posting a video of yourself online. And that was my MrAntiGambler stuff was the first ever YouTube thing that I've ever done ever. So I said, okay, as soon as I put myself on the internet, I'm putting myself at full vulnerability. And this way, I'm not gonna gamble again. I'll be able to share my story. And that's how it all really started. And then finding more voices as I was starting my channel, more people exactly in the same shoes as me. And now it's making me trying to think, how do we make some noise with the gambling regulations, we'll say.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting. So what was the first interaction which got you into gambling? Like what was the story behind that?
It's so stupid, man, but it's dices in high school. It was the cool thing to do. You had dices in high school, you got your 25 change or 2 cigarettes, or you're just dices in high school. That's what really got me kind of introduced to winning and losing, just off change, right? And after that, when we got a little bit older, the corner store didn't really ID us at all, so we could just buy scratchers anytime we wanted. And some of the kids that we used to smoke weed with, like it was high school days, right? They would pick in the trash and trying to find all the scratchers, and then go back in the machine and try to scan all the scratchers to hopefully, because sometimes they would win money, sometimes they would find money. So the corner store was so like kind of polluted with the gambling, sort of. You got the dices going on here, you got the kids digging through trash in the scratchers, you have anybody saying, bro, do you have $1? We'll get a scratcher, because just change stuff. Because sometimes all it takes is that one time, right? And that's what happened. We won $5 on a $1 scratcher. With that $5, we ended up just buying 5 $1 scratchers, and then we had enough money to buy beer. So we all skipped school to buy beer, and then we kept on doing this. Yeah, man, it's stupid. But so that's like the dramatic, very early introduction to it. But so as the years went on, not being able to go to the casino, but everybody who I hung out with, man, I was like 16 years old hanging out with these older guys. They would drop me off. I would stay in the car in the parking lot while they would go gamble for 2 or 3 hours. In the winter, they just ditched me there, man. And it was stupid. The reason why, it all for weed. My buddy's going to meet you in the parking lot. So it's stupid, man. I don't want to say too much, but watching those guys coming in and out of the casinos, where I'm getting at with this, as that young 16-year-old just stuck in the car, finally they come in, finally come out, and watching them with chunks of cash or no money at all, and the ups and downs of it. And it was these two brothers, like they were really close, gambling all the time, and I was like the twin that wasn't really related, always with them. But so what I remember is these few certain nights of when they won like $500 plus, and then what we did with that cash, it was like winning like $1 million, but it was $500, and we're just dumb kids, broke, no jobs, right? It's just $100 just to make us really happy. So $500, watching them, all this kind of excitement, and I'm gonna get this shitty hotel room, and now we got the babes, and I don't know if you want me to swear on this one or not. I'm gonna keep it clean.
No, bro, no filter. I don't care for.
Oh, nice.
I'm not big on censorship. I could care less.
I'm starting to adapt more to it just because I realize the harm that it can cause in the future. But going back to the story, man, watching these guys just having fun with that $500. The second I turned 18 years old, I knew exactly where I wanted to spend my birthday. At the casino. And Quebec side, it's 18 years old to go gamble inside of the casino, so it's very early, right? But that's pretty much as soon as I got hooked, and I was doing the same things that they would talk about: go to the roulette, all this stupid stuff. And eventually, just following their lead is where I became the addict. Just because you go there alone, $80, you don't get hooked on that. But if you go there with somebody who's spending $1,000, and you're watching that, and you see it flip, man, and now you get hooked. It's a different game than just that average little bet player, and you see the potential in that. That's where I really got hooked into it. So it started off really with influences, but actually getting flirting with gambling in high school was just chump change, and eventually led to whole paychecks.
Wow, that's crazy. So are you from Quebec?
No, I'm just here right now.
Oh, so where did you grow up?
Ontario.
Really? I'm from Ontario.
Yeah. You're Mississauga. Yeah, I'm not too far from Montreal and Toronto. I'm like right in the middle of it.
But really?
Yeah.
Like east of Toronto.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not too far from you. I'm, Canada's Wonderland.
Yes.
Yeah,
the amusement park.
Yeah, I live right there.
Oh, nice, bro. That must be a fun place to hang out.
Yeah, except for the weekends, the traffic is awful because everyone comes to the amusement park, right?
Oh man.
So okay, so we're in pretty close proximity. So my story is kind of interesting, and you would understand where I'm coming from here. Is I would take the bus up to Casino Rama in Aurelia, or I would take the bus down to Casino Niagara by the falls, right? Yeah. Did you ever do that?
No, not the Niagara ones, but
no.
I know about it. I've heard about it. I pretty much only stayed around Lee May, Rideau Carleton Raceway, and Montreal Casino were the main ones that I used to. But other than that, I didn't really go gamble too far away from my own zone. I never went to Vegas. That's one thing that I kind of regretted in my gambling career. I never made it to Vegas. I just, no matter how much money I had, I just stayed at the local casinos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Vegas is interesting because it's so much more fun because the whole experience is amplified. And a big problem that I really noticed was the free alcohol. Because the casinos here, like when I would go to Niagara, it'd be like $5 for a beer, and most guys would just tip $5 from their stack of chips to the waiter. But in Vegas, all the drinks are free. So dudes are just getting vodka, they're getting rum, they're getting beer, and everyone's just getting drunk. And it's kind of like a scam because the casino is deliberately intoxicating people so that they make poor financial decisions. And when I saw that, I'm like, man, that's kind of sneaky. That's like a little dirty, right? You're getting people drunk, and then of course they're not going to be of sound mind to make proper financial decisions. And on top of that, you have an ATM right beside the bar. So they have unlimited access to money. So Vegas is kind of like it's kind of wild because the way US and Canada has like rules and regulations for gambling, it's a little bit different. But that place, it's like it's so much fun, but it would be a nightmare for someone that's struggling with a gambling problem.
That's exactly why I kind of had to stay away from it too, man. No matter how much money I saved up and told myself, "Yeah, I gotta go on vacation," I knew that that would be my biggest mistake to go there. But it sounds like kind of like a nightmare, but a dream world area, man. Free booze, and it's really up to your self control to not end up totally gone and wasted. Oh
Yeah, well,
man,
because that's like the American way, right? There's like this hospitality, right? Like here in Canada, you gotta like pay for everything. Like nothing's free. But over there, oh, you want like vodka for the whole table? Like guys at the poker table would order a shot for everyone at the table, and
oh
I'd be
man.
like, oh my gosh, are we really doing this? This is so crazy, right? And I'd just be getting crushed because then you fall into the peer pressure of consuming alcohol with all the boys at the table, right? And then it just your night just goes from bad to worse to like massive debt real fast, and it's horrible because that's what ruins people's lives, right? And it's strange because I never thought I'd ever make like YouTube videos about this topic, but one day one of my friends was like, man, you have like all these crazy poker stories that you would tell us at parties. Why don't you make like a YouTube video about it? And I was like, oh, I don't know, like it seems so weird. Like I don't people probably don't want to hear me tell a story about losing money and struggling and being depressed and sad and crying and at a casino. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no one wants to hear that type of stuff. But what's interesting is by sharing these like authentic stories of struggling and being vulnerable, you get this feedback from people that's like generally very positive, where people are like, hey man, I totally resonate with your story, with your message. You know, I'm going through a slot addiction. I'm going through a roulette addiction right now, and your story is very inspiring. You know, can you give me any advice to improve my life? And I'm like, wow. Whenever you hear comments like that from people, and then you realize that you can actually make a difference and help someone's life, that's when this whole stuff became really motivating. And I was like, you know what? I need to think more about this gambling stuff and how I can try to help people, if that makes any sense.
Oh, absolutely, man. And I know exactly what you mean about the super messages, man. And sometimes I wonder if that kind of got to my head a little bit, where because at some point, man, I was thinking, should I sell advice, anti-gambling advice, like quit gambling advice? With my Gmail, it's surprising. I didn't think about it, but next thing you know, I get some crazy fan mail, man. That's like, thank you, you really did something for my life. And now just these emails is what's with the ego thing. I'm getting these super kind, helpful things, but then with the channel being not shown at all, like just all the videos. And I could share on my community the algorithm or the analytics of what happened and just wonder why. But at the same time, I don't know if you know about the whole Andrew Tate situation where the demonetization, or not the demonetization, but the censorship happened. In
Yep.
those exact moments is when my channel just totally stopped getting pushed out there. And then I looked at YouTube's like terms of condition, the community guideline things, the new updated ones, and they say that if you swear or you show any curses in the first like up to 8 seconds of the video, or up to the first 32 seconds of the video or something like that, it's you won't get shown anymore or something like that. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
I have the fuck the odds that shows up with a every video. So I think that's really what got me.
Oh,
I
huh.
It could be because all my videos got stopped, man, in one day. It doesn't make sense. It would make sense if one slowed down, then the other one would trickle down, then they would all lose. But the same exact day, man, just
So it was the same day that Andrew Tate got canceled.
same month. We'll say that same time span, that same
Hmm.
like week of him going to the Romanian jail. That week there.
Mm-hmm. Like I know that so many people that I've talked to, friends, family members, coworkers, everyone hates this guy. Like everyone
Yeah,
hates his guts
no,
so
you don't
much.
really want to talk about him to loved ones, man. And I personally don't like him either. I just find it fascinating the way he rose to fame that fast.
Yeah, like the problem with me is like my YouTube journey, it wasn't really about gambling. I kind of fell into this sub niche accidentally. Like my whole space on YouTube has been this self improvement world, which is more aligned with the red pill. And that is very similar to what Andrew Tate talks about. Like, not on the, he talks a lot of stuff about women, right? For example, which is what he gets a lot of heat for, and rightfully so. However, the red pill stuff that he talks about, how, it's good to work out, it's good to be healthy, be a professional, don't be lazy, be disciplined, like all those type of things, those beliefs are aligned with my form of the red pill in self-improvement. So some part of me like really resonates with his message, because there's lots of really good stuff to teach young men there, to be disciplined, to be motivated, to have good habits and be accountable, right? But it's unfortunate that he gets into like the misogynistic stuff, because that's what ultimately kills him. But my biggest problem is censorship in general. And I'm someone that has always advocated free speech. Like, I feel like free speech is so important, regardless if you swear or not. Because at the end of the day, if I'm just saying a curse word about myself, right? Like, am I harming anybody? I'm not doing harm to any particular person if I'm just like talking shit about myself. But then like the censorship that YouTube has is very discouraging, because it blocks people from viewing content that could potentially help them and benefit their life, which is in line with the gambling stuff. And because you have like a couple curse words in your videos, now it gets all like, it sounds like you're shadow banned in a sense. That's what it sounds like to me.
It's exactly what happened. And man, I was getting like 20 plus subscribers a day for a solid week, and then out of nowhere, boom, I haven't gotten 20 subscribers in a week. So my channel was growing pretty fast, man. I was showing this to my parents. I'm like, look, it's happening. Everything was happening really fast, and next thing you know, boom, not one subscriber for a solid, like, even I've been keeping an eye on gambling sort of YouTubers, just to see what's going on, like who's competition, right? Naturally. And I see this channel. I don't know if you know this video. It's a Jackie, Gambling Jackie.
I'll search it up. What is it? Gambling
Jackie. If you type in Gambling Jackie, but she hasn't posted a video in a month. All right, and me and her at the same time. I remember I rose my subscriber count faster than hers, because I remember she had more subscribers than me, and I said, okay, I got to do what she's doing. So have you found her, Jackie Gambling?
Yep, Jackie. Yeah.
So 500 subscribers, right?
Yeah, 510.
Me and her both had 400 subscribers. And then at the same exact week, me and her both stopped getting subscribers, like fast. We both stopped. And so she hasn't posted a video in about a month. And now you can see that, like, it's just a dead channel, dead niche. Nothing's going on anymore. So she's not the only one. There's another one too, but he's a bit more active. His channel just hit 5,000 subscribers, but it's Santos Roland Jr., Soldiers of Self-Mastery.
Oh, that guy reached out to me once.
I went on his live stream. He's a good man. Yeah. I find that, I found that maybe that's what I would have ended up looking like if I didn't, trying to sell advice, trying to sell your but the thing is that I have no level of expertise for that. So I would have I wouldn't have made it, man. So yeah, all that to say is that these channels have been there for a very long time, and they're just kind of stuck in idling.
That's interesting, because that guy reached out to me like at the very beginning when I posted a gambling video, and I was like, who is this guy? And I kind of like brushed it off, because I had no interest in talking about gambling at all. This was like a one-off. This was like a one video, and then I'm going to go back to my normal stuff. And so I don't even remember if I replied to him. Maybe I should, to show respect to a fellow brother in our niche. But in terms of like analytics, though, like all of my videos about gambling in general have all performed fairly well algorithmically. I don't think I have any curse words or swearing. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think so.
I don't think so either, man. That's what I look for in somebody's popular gambling video. Are they swearing? What are they doing that I'm not doing? And how come I'm not getting the same results as them? And I have a lot of suspicions why I could be shadow banned. And another reason, it's the stupidest thing that I could have done. But I went to the Freedom Convoy back last year to film it, and I posted a bunch of Freedom Convoy shit. So I think it messed my algorithm. By now, maybe YouTube thinks I'm a Freedom Convoyer, and so I totally shot myself in the foot by doing that. And then I ended up putting all my Freedom Convoy videos on private, just because I didn't want it to corrupt my algorithm more. So it's
Yeah, that would do it. That
oh man, and I'm not
that
like
probably do
supportive
it.
of it either. Like I kind of had a negative view on it. I kind of like what is this? No matter what, man. In my opinion, there's no more freedom. They're taking it away from you, and there's nothing we can do. There's not parking trucks there, and the freedom is not really like it's not the freedom that we think. It's just smaller and smaller things, such as the censorship. And now they're gonna ban
Mhm.
more material and content for us to be able to see on the internet. And I kind of stand for it because TikTok is the biggest garbage of the world. It's making people stupid by the second.
It's
Shorts on
awful.
YouTube, the stuff that they force you to see, you don't choose to watch this stuff. So you're just kind of like, doing your thing, and you're being shown all these things that are brainwashing you and slowly and steadily taking your freedom away from what you enjoy in your life by making you see these things that you never even asked to see. It's a form of brainwash, man. Just
Mm.
replacing your own world with what the agenda, the mainstream wants you to see. I don't know if this is all making sense here, but
No,
um,
it does. It does.
oh
The
man,
um, the Freedom Convoy thing was alarming. For anyone that doesn't really know, in Canada we had all these truckers drive down to our capital in Ottawa, and this one massive like convoy of trucks in protest of the vaccination passport mandate, I think, for the truckers crossing the border. And
yeah,
this actually hit home with me because I work in logistics. I work for a shipping company, and that's my day job. And so it's FedEx, right? And so I work at the airport, and there's tons of our employees who drive FedEx trucks from the airport down to the border, and this was affecting like so many people. But I think the problem here that happened was as soon as you saw the GoFundMe pages getting canceled and people's bank funds being seized, people were sending the truckers money. I think that's what triggered like this massive urgency or massive sense of urgency that they need to do something about this convoy. And I think that probably played a huge role in censoring um, all the stuff on social media, because they probably wanted to suppress anyone making videos supporting the convoy. So maybe they saw your videos as a supporter, and then maybe they put all those people into one bucket, and then maybe just shadow ban them all. Like I don't know. Like if I'd have to guess, that's probably what
the
happened.
the theories that you would hear around like I was just standing there, man. The main reason why I went to Freedom Convoy, I built a massive sign for like $100 worth of. I built a massive sign with QR codes for my anti-gambling channel, and I was gonna go stand there with my massive sign, and I built it windproof and everything, man, super sturdy. And as soon as I showed up there, I said, "Man, this is not for me." But I just looked around, and then I came to the conclusion that damn, there's a lot of fishy things going on. And you would hear these guys are like, watch out, there's a camera jammer there. If you film that, they're gonna jam your phone and all this crazy wild stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is part of a reality, the whole censorship of Freedom Convoy, and maybe seeing me as a supporter. Deep down, I wasn't. In fact, back in those days, I would kind of rage. And I raged at how stupid I thought it was, because the thing is this is that there's different ways of making actions out there. And I found that parking trucks out there, and this is it brought out all the cuckoos. That's what happened. So anybody who has their head and that can think and can logically write down sentences and actually make a public speech that makes sense without swearing. Some of these public speeches that the main figures of the convoy with their freedom flags, um, man, it was just so disorganized and trashy. It was like watching Trailer Park Boys. If you really want to, no, I'm not trying to insult them,
Oh
but
man.
it's the truth here is that if you really want to touch, the average citizen's heart, not like the people, you have to speak properly. And the way that they were doing it, the guy was like, oh yeah, hey Biden, we're tired of you, fucking Trudeau. Like you won't do nothing. You're just gonna piss more people off. You're not making a point. But what I found stupid about this is that everybody's there, and like this is maybe if you'll have to run your imagination for this, but I was standing there. There's two drones flying around, police drones, and they're keeping an eye on everybody. And there's 5,000 police officers. I'm not even joking, man. I'm gonna pull up the video here as I'm telling the story, but 5,000 police officers and maybe 1,000 protesters. So all the protesters are outnumbered by crazy at this point. Now the trucks finally show up, all right, and they park. All you hear is, they're here to stay, they're here to stay. And just an hour later, the trucks are gone, and out of the way. So what it is that it's these sort of energy coyotes where one goes around the neighborhood and goes, freedom. And then another pack of coyotes down the street goes, freedom. And then they walk together and they're yelling, freedom. Like the most eerie, almost, but nobody's actually doing anything that's going to be a significant, you know, the guy who stands in front of the tank and stops the show? You know that picture? Nobody's doing that. Nobody's standing in front of the tank and stopping anything. In a sense, they're actually there and causing kind of a chaotic nature in everybody's mind, and it's not going to solve anything but causing censorship or police to upgrade their forces even more for next time they show up. So that was proven. What I just said right there is totally proven, because now they had the Freedom Convoy birthday, or the first year anniversary, and the cops were there in full force. You know what I mean? Big budget. The thing that we don't really see, the protesters, is that the police force is having a massive party in the hotel. They got cases of Coke, cases of Pepsi, cases of any drink you want, pizza coming in, and they're all having a blast and being super funded. And not just funded, but given better tools for the next protest to happen. So this little shit show that happened only reinforced the police force and the intelligence by 10 times more. So it's only going to cause it against once another little shit show like that happens, man. It's just giving more tools for the cops is all it really does. More reason to censor, keep the narrative.
Wow.
Oh, no, it's mind-blowing. But okay, so the things you hear, the camera jammers, you hear that there's these spy cops that are walking around, and the spy cops, they're even there, and they have a police sort of badge on their little winter uniform, and they go right to your face and they take a picture. They marked every single person that stood around there, good or bad. It was so stupid, man. But
wow, that's wild. Holy.
Yeah, I had no business there either. I don't know. Maybe I should put all these videos public on my channel again. Well, so part of the reasons why I thought my channel was shadow planning is because that and that. The other reason too is that I really started going crazy about the gambling is like a religion, and they're brainwashing people and controlling. As soon as I did those gambling is like a religion videos, that's when it all ended. My channel.
Gambling is like a religion.
Which video?
Were these recent videos you made?
Maybe a month ago or two. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like my whole channel has been a big mess, and I'm not too sure what to do anymore with it. And just I was also thinking of just starting another channel called MrAntiGambler Show, just so it resets like all the troubles that this sort of algorithm has collected on it, on the data.
Yeah, it kind of sucks because like I'm not a big fan of the censorship stuff, but if you want to be on the YouTube platform, this is something that like Andrew Tate didn't do well, is like you have to also play by the rules, right? Like if you don't want to have any of these rules, then that's what kind of Rumble is there for, right? Where that's where like a lot of people seem to be going to. So like the way that I think about YouTube, it's like I love the platform. You know, I want to be a creator on the platform, but I'm very cognizant of like what the rules are, what they like, what they dislike, and I really noticed what the whole censorship stuff for me is when one of my videos got like super flagged for kids, like kids being shown in the video, but it was pictures of myself. So I had like these pictures of me when I was 2, and they appear in the video, and the video automatically got flagged, and the comment section the comment section gets permanently disabled. Like I can't even enable it or disable it. It just 100% gets locked down because there's kids. But I'm like, but the kid is me. It's just a picture of myself, and the thumbnail is me at like 4 years old or something. And that video, it's super like suppressed. It doesn't get any traction anywhere at all. So that's one thing. I'm like, oh, you know, again, that's on me. Like that's a mistake that I own. Like it's like a learning experience too. Now I know, okay, like YouTube is very sensitive about kid stuff, and I knew that. But I've figured like a picture of myself. But then again, they don't know that it's a picture of myself, right? So they don't know the context of it.
Yeah.
So I try to think deeply a lot about, you know, if I want to be on the platform long term, which I do, like we have to try to at least play by the rules, even if we morally don't agree with some of them, right? If that makes
Yeah, I
any
agree
sense.
100%. It's the way I see it now is like going to an employer not being happy with his rules. You know, it's like I don't know.
But
You know what I mean? Like it's like going to YouTube and then your boss says please don't swear, but you're there swearing and you're expecting a raise. It's I don't know. Maybe that was my approach that I took with my whole swearing and angry. But the way I see it is that my videos would have never been authentic, or I would have never been able to really express myself the way I truly felt at the time because I was going through a withdrawal, man, a total withdrawal. Um, if I wasn't swearing and just if I was jamming up my words and thinking of like, oh, and donkey, don't, like, you know, I would have never been able to properly make these videos. But I that's my biggest regret is having sworn. Uh, but the censorship thing, man, my only kind of like, but imagine if we were censored. Just imagine, all right? It sucks, but imagine you never went through the problems of seeing Two Girls, One Cup in your whole life. Imagine your life would be excellent. You know what I mean? So imagine, essentially, it's not a bad thing. And I was 14 years old the first time some guy on the school bus showed me that on his phone, and he's like, "Look, bro, look." And I remember I went home and I couldn't even eat dinner. I was like traumatized. So imagine you don't have to go through the pain of seeing these weird videos, man. But all right, I'm gonna. This was the Freedom Con. Oh, this is stupid, man. But this was pretty much the protest here. Oh, bro, this is not gonna work.
It's okay, no worries. So you were there just to like observe it, just kind of see you're
Bro,
interested in what's going on.
At first, I was gonna hold a sign. I wanted to hold a sign right where the main entrance was, and I was pumped and ready. I had a video called "I'm Pumped and Ready." I'll just and with this video here, I was gonna go take the best real estate spot with my sign that says "I hate the casino, quit gambling, watch these videos." And I didn't even have professional quit gambling videos yet, man. Just kind of like crazy and looking for a thrill.
Do you know on YouTube, your channel is it monetized? No, right?
No, not yet. I'm at 600, and I've just been stuck at almost at 700.
Because once you get monetized, there's this section. It's the very first section that comes up when you post a video. It asks you, is there any swearing in the video?
Yeah.
And you can click yes, and then it gives you like a subcategory, or it puts your video into a subcategory. I have to do that every time I talk about psychedelics. I have to click this section that's like, this video contains educational content about drugs and is not promoting illegal use or selling in any way. I have to always click that very specific thing. So I wonder, like, when you get monetized, if you just click the part about swearing, does that help with the video at all? Like, I wonder how that works.
We'll have to find out. Right now, I put like all my videos. It's not good for the channel either, but it's not recommended for kids. Like all my videos, it's automatically I put that on it.
Yeah,
but I don't have the no swearing feature yet, or the swearing feature yet.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's a lot going on with YouTube. Like there's so much functionality and settings that you can go through, especially once you get monetized. And it's weird because I have people who complain to me whenever they watch one of my gambling videos that, oh, in the middle there was like a gambling ad for a casino played. I'm like, oh, that defeats the whole purpose of the video.
That's
right?
exactly why I think that they don't want them to see this stuff, dude.
Yeah, like one guy's like, oh, how ironic. You're talking about the negative consequences of gambling, and you show me a gambling ad at 2 minutes in. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm sorry. Like I don't have control over that stuff. It just is out of my control, right?
It throws insult to the injury, kind of, so to speak. And I've had a comment very similar to that one too, man. I had some funny comments. I had a comment that's like, man, I was in Vegas and your videos got recommended to me. And I'm like, oh, so he told me he spent his Vegas vacation watching my videos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man. So I don't know. It's wild what the algorithm does when it wants. But right now, for me, it just totally put me all away. How long have you been doing like the whole YouTube thing?
Seriously?
Or when did you get monetized? Is pretty much what I want to ask with that one. And how long in the journey?
So I created my channel in December of 2007.
Okay.
And it was like, at first it was like basketball StarCraft, like it was all kinds of random stuff. And it wasn't until 2016 I started getting into like fitness, and I kind of posted sporadically here and there. I'd post a bunch and then I'd quit, come back, post a bunch. And then in 2019, in the summer of 2019, I'm like, okay, I'm going to take this seriously and I'm going to post every single week and just go all in, like, and not just post and quit, and like take it really, really seriously. So I started in June 2019. And I was fortunate enough to get this one video of this one exercise I was doing at the park. It started to pick up traction. It got me a bunch of subscribers. I think I got monetized in a year and a half,
Oh, nice.
12 months or so. No, not 12 months, 18 months. Like 18 months I got monetized. And it was like that one video kind of picked up, and everything else was pretty much did nothing. And Mr. Beast talks about this a lot. He always talks about how to grow a channel, it's easier for one video to get 1,000,000 views than like 100 videos to get 10,000 views or whatever, right? And so my problem though was I didn't continue on with the fitness content because I was sort of ending that phase of fitness. I was getting into more like philosophy, and mindset and books, and I was really getting into videography. So like 2019 was when I really started, and I started doing had like a videography business that I was, I was working as a videographer for the Ripley's Aquarium in Toronto. I was doing weddings, like that type of stuff, right? And then COVID came, shut everything down. So now I'm like, okay, can't do this. Let's just go all in on YouTube. And so I've pretty much went all in with my channel, podcast, like everything. I do live streams every week too, website, newsletter. So I just kind of took my skills that I was working on with cameras, because I love cameras. It's one of my passions in life. I love videography, camera gear, like everything. It makes me
You
happy.
guys on the podcast, on yesterday's podcast, you guys really woke my mind up about cameras, and maybe I should look into that
Oh,
stuff too, man. I watched the whole thing as I was bench pressing, man. I'm like,
oh,
these
my
guys,
buddy Don
yeah, man,
Tinsley.
I like
Yeah.
that video because sometimes when you hear two guys passionate about something, and then you overhear, and then you're like, whoa, this is cool stuff. Then you look into it, you start realizing all the stuff that you've been missing out on, and videography, the way that I've been watching, the way that you do your B-rolls, you're talking about this and that. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna apply this. So I got a
Yeah.
masterpiece, and it's influenced by your video and a bit of the video that Don was talking about also, man. Just bouncing back on the ideas and the B-roll factors and having this lens for that or different shots for what, and it's good.
Mhm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but there's one trap with that though. Like being a good videographer and having good video editing skills and camera gear, it doesn't make you a good YouTuber. And this was a mistake that I made early on, where I was really upset with the fact that I was putting in like some of my videos take 80 hours to film, shoot, edit, color grade, sound design. Like it takes so long for some of my older videos, and I'd get so upset when it would get like 50 views and I put in 80 hours. Like, and that's 80 hours within like 10 days. Like it'd be 8 hours a day for 10 days straight. Like that's how obsessed I used to get. And so I really started to check my ego and realize, like, it's the message of the video, the content is way more important than any flashy transitions or edits or picture quality, right?
That's what he said, the meat and potatoes of the video. As soon as I heard you say that, it's about the meat and potatoes of the video, I said, man, what are my meat and potatoes? And so it's very influenced. I'm aiming to make people cry if they're gambling addicts, so they don't want to gamble anymore. That's going to be like my sort of with the B rolls and shots to capture the emotion, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the gambling stuff is interesting because the way that I've kind of found success with my videos is using the keywords gambling addiction, spending a lot of time on a thumbnail that's interesting, that sparks interest, or it's kind of captivating, and then having the video just be about a story. And what I found that when you tell people what to do, a lot of the times they don't take it in stride and they kind of will push back. Whereas if you just tell like an authentic story about what happened to you and what you learned from it, instead of like forcing people to do things, I feel like that gets received better. So all my gambling videos where I just like tell a story, about a time where, oh, I flew to Vegas and I blew $15,000, or I did, you know what I mean? Like just the story in and of itself is what I find, or what I think that people find very interesting.
I agree with that too. Most of my videos too, it's not the ones that my old videos. I don't know if you've seen any of them, but when I'm like, "You're a fucking idiot, da, 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 you're gonna fuck your life up." I don't know if you've seen that one, but
No, not that one.
okay,
Oh, shit.
yeah. I had some stupid stuff on my channel, man. But yeah, those didn't work. They
Oh,
didn't like that
man.
one. They liked the ones where I'm talking about a sad story. Or something like that, man. But yeah, not the ones that you're telling them to quit gambling and force feeding it down their throat. They won't take it.
You know what though? There was one video. To be perfectly honest, I watched a couple of your videos, and there was one video that really sparked my interest. And you talked about this idea where if you want to drive a car, you have to have a driver's license. If you want to be a teacher, you have to go to teachers college and get like your certification. And you were saying like, how come there is no certification to gamble? Like you should go through some type of testing where you prove that you are cognitively aware of your actions and the money that you're spending in order to give you like a certification or a license so that you can go to the casino and gamble, like how you need
A license to
ID
gamble.
of age to go and buy alcohol, right? And so I thought that was a very interesting idea because I never heard of that before. So that was something that I was like, oh, that's a very interesting concept that you came up with, or where did that come from?
I came up with it, man. I was because I was going through the self-reflecting phase. My brain cycles from like realizing what I got and thriving, and then the other cycle comes around with like self-reflecting and then wondering where did it all go wrong? How could I have fixed something? You know, it's like I'm doing good. How could I have fixed something to be better? And now I was thinking, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna blame everything in the world but myself from gambling. And then I started to blame this, and then I started to look into my education. I said, man, I'm fucking stupid. I'm not education. I'm not, what am I doing in the casino? You know, spending that type of cash, hanging out with people who are actually doctors, who have the brain to afford spending that type of cash. I'm their construction Joe, you know, making $1,500 if I work 60 hours a week. 60 hours a week to make that type of cash, to spend it all in one night, just because you want to be well off eventually. But I figured if there was some type of test, so you need a test for driving a car, you need a test for firearms, for fishing, you need a test for fishing.
Yeah,
you need
fishing license. Yeah.
You need if you want to cut hair, you need a professional license. So, but to go make $10,000 in one night at the casino, you're good. You don't need nothing. To go and start really making big chunks of cash, you're good. You know, you don't need a license. How is that? How and the other thing too is a firearms license, a fishing license. They cut off people who are too senile to actually understand that they're poaching, to actually understand they're not allowed to be hunting in these zones. They're too old. They forgot the rules. Same with the casino. They got too old and they forget the rules and they forget what they're doing. Next thing you know, they no more retirement home money. They're fucked. They're totally fucked. And the thing too that happens is that stupid people follow stupid people. So, and everybody that I've personally known that I've gambled with, they're not the doctors that are educated. They're my buddies that we go and we do stupid shit at work and break our backs, and then we go gamble our old pay away. We have no business. None of us, none of me and my friends have any business in the casino. You know what I mean? We would have all failed that 12th grade test of math. You know, I don't know. So that's where I figured, okay, I'm going to make a video on that. I'll see if I can piss people off by, you know, because there's a lot of people, the whole freedom thing, they're touchy. The whole, you know, censorship, and I want my freedom, my body, my choice. But then, now we have to start regulations. So I thought maybe that would cause a buzz, but it didn't. It did nothing. My whole channel is super banned. Yeah, it's not working out.
Oh my gosh!
After this, I'm gonna put all my videos back on public, even all my freedom convoys. I don't care anymore, man. We gotta see what happens. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong, and I can't fix it.
That's yeah, that's tough, bro.
Yeah, and it could be because all my videos are totally shitty too. It could be that, but I don't think so, man. I got too much love coming around for me to actually believe that's the case. That is shitty videos. I don't think so. There's like a YouTube wants you to see gambling ads, and they don't want to see anti-gambling shit.
Hmm.
You know how much money gambling actually makes, man? It's like close to $1 billion sometimes a week.
Like the industry.
Just in Canada itself, how much money they can really pump. There's so much people that go to the casino and lose 30 grand in one night. You know,
Yeah.
and now when Christmas has come around, when big events come around, when this and that, think about the high rollers that come around, the big chunks of cash, man, the people that totally lose control. And that's what happened to me. I lost control because of a pill trial. That's when I totally forgot who I was. I didn't look in the mirror anymore. I didn't shave for like 2 months. I was on for my back pain, they gave me some like 3 different types of pain pills. And
Vicodin,
no, fucking
some
yeah,
oxys,
yeah, some oxys and
oxycodone.
Ativan and Lyrica. So 3 different kinds, but an
Mm,
opioid, mood stabilizer, and then
Jesus.
yeah, and then another one that I was on too, which was take as needed, was like a back spasm pill. And when I told the doctors on the Ontario side that I'm taking these pills, they're like, "Why the fuck are you taking these pills? That's not for your back pain." So I was like being recommended random shit. It's pretty crazy, man. So they
Yeah,
told me,
that's really dangerous too, especially for people that struggle with gambling, because usually gambling addicts have like an obsessive compulsive
yeah,
um, personality, because that's what I have.
oh, me
I
too, man,
am
big time.
Yeah, I am like a massive obsessive compulsive person, and it's really bad, and you can see it in like videography. Like when I got into
I,
videography, I couldn't buy one camera or one lens. I had to buy 3 cameras, 10 lenses. Like I can't just do something halfway or for fun. It has to be all the way in or nothing. It's really bad, and so I'm always very self-aware about pain medication, because I've heard so many horror stories of guys getting a surgery and they get Vicodins or oxycodone or some prescription pain medication, and then they're screwed. Then they're hooked on it, right? And it's something that's like it's like a horrible story to hear when you hear someone that's in a hospital and they get prescribed a pain pill or medication by a professional, by like a doctor, and then it just ruins their life. Like
yeah,
that type of stuff is very dangerous, especially for guys like us that are like recovering gambling addicts. I don't know how you classify yourself, but like for me, like gambling is something that I'm probably gonna have to struggle with like for the rest of my life.
I agree. Same here, man. I don't think that it's possible to be a recovered gambling addict. I think no matter what, you'll be tempted every day. You'll be teased a little bit to go gamble at some point. Um, but
Hmm.
going back to the pills, I relate to that big time, man. Anti-pill. I don't believe that pills are for everybody, but I do believe they do help certain people tremendously, we'll say. And I was an example of that. There was a time that I went vegan. All right, I went vegan for a year and 3 months, and
Oh,
throughout
okay,
this,
that's cool.
oh, but it's cool. But I have pictures of myself, and I look totally anorexic. And when I went, yeah, no, it's not good, man. It's I'll show. It's not good though. And you know what, man? I was doing like 15 you know chin ups and whatnot, and I'm like, man, I'm so light, I'm so strong, and my neck had massive veins, and but I was skinny like this, just totally skinny, and none of my fit clothes at this point because I lost so much weight so fast. Now my brain deteriorated, and when my brain deteriorated because it couldn't just process information anymore, all I could really do was yell like, man, oh, this is fucked up. Like I just went on a total manic episode of just being deprived, like somebody who's just hungry. And there was nothing I could eat at this point. I was just eating pita bread, hummus, and avocados, just like all day, all the time at work.
Hmm.
So I collapsed, man. I collapsed, and I always told myself that if the doctors never gave me those pills, I would have probably done something irreversible. You know what I mean? Like I was just so messed up and lost and confused that was the only thing that slowed me down. Now, while they sludged me out like that, while they gave me the sludge, it was like lithium and all types anyways, this is what made me control my life again. And I said, whoa, I got to start eating. It's like the only thing that worked. But then they wanted me on it all the time. And I told them like, no, I'm good. I don't need this all the time. Well, they said, if you stop taking them, you're going to go back to that crazy guy. And I'm like, no, that's not true. I'm and they're like, no, you got it. Now they were forcing me on it. They told me, you got to come check your blood, and we got to make sure that your pills are in your blood. And if your blood shows that you're out of medicine in it, we're gonna pull your driver's license. So
What?
yeah, no, I'm not joking, man. So and
Jesus.
yeah, so it was crazy. So I was forced on these pills, these and eventually when I told them, I did all types of research. I said, okay, the reason why I had that manic attack is because I was vegan. I was not eating. I would do like a 3-day fast just because I thought that I ate a animal product and I wanted to cleanse myself. Veganism is crazy. It's a rabbit hole that never ends. And so I would think that there was butter in something that I ate. So I gotta not eat for 3 days to make sure that butter is completely out of my system for me to have fruit and vegetables again. That's gonna be absorbed without. Yeah, man.
Holy shit.
So that's crazy in itself. It's crazy in itself. And the only thing that snapped me out of it was being sludged by the doctors for the pills. And it kind of helped me to get back on track and normal. And I never flipped out like that ever again since those vegan days and going through that sludge and eating meat again and saying, I'm never doing that again, man. I'm never going through that garbage.
That's interesting. I the vegan thing is something that I really like to talk about because I was into the whole fitness stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I have a vegan guy who comes to my podcast once a year, and it's cool because I really like him, even though our beliefs are like the complete opposite. He's like a cardio guy. I'm like a gym and weights guy. He's like a vegan guy. I'm like intermittent fasting type of guy. He's an atheist guy. I'm an agnostic type of guy. So it's like none of our beliefs align, right? But for me, I really like talking to people that have ideas that contrast with my own, because I try to be as open-minded as I can when it comes to other people's perspectives. And for the longest time, I hated the vegan diet. I used to be like a little shit. I'd go to Korean barbecue and I'd hashtag vegan in my Instagram pictures. I was a dick, right? I was an asshole. But I know friends that have benefited from a vegan diet, and even though the vegan diet's not for me, right? I've tried it for like maybe a couple weeks, and it definitely wasn't for me. But for other people, they love it, and so like I kind of like to talk about it, even though it's something that it doesn't really align with my beliefs. But I think it's really important as to be like a well balanced person to also like take other people's opinions. And it's something that I've really tried to do on like this podcast. Is like I try to get as many different people with very varying ideas as I can. I want to find someone that is pro Trudeau, and also find someone that hates Trudeau, and maybe just talk to them and find out why, and just have good conversations, and maybe it'll help mold my perspective on the world. Right? It's just like an interesting thing, but I know what you mean when you went through like the vegan thing. I totally resonate with that.
Oh man, I got lost. I heard it's beneficial, and then after a year, I couldn't even. Man, I was just. I had no muscle and I had no fat, so I was just totally like a shell of a human, pretty much, man. And the thing is, I believed I was healthy until the day that I totally collapsed. Like I thought the world was fucked. That's the thing. But really, I was the one that was like mentally. Man, if I knew that my grandma might have put the spoon that touched the carrots, that might have had butter, I would tell my grandma I can't eat. It's like it was so stupid.
That's the obsessive compulsive in you.
Yeah, man, that's it.
Yeah, that's what that is. Yeah, because the gambling thing is so mess, because like I don't know if you have this, but I have a physical addiction that I can't get rid of, and it's right here in front of me. It's these blue poker chips, which was part of the thumbnail of that video. And I have this horrible separation anxiety when I don't have like these at my desk. Like when I'm either editing a YouTube video, or maybe I'm writing an article or a newsletter for like my website, or I'm even just brainstorming ideas for videos. I have this horrible physical addiction from like my gambling days, where if I don't have like a stack of poker chips to have in my left hand, I get this inability to concentrate on my work. And I've tried to kick it like for so many years, but for whatever reason, I just have this stupid reminder, and it stares at me. It's right in front of my face every single day, and it's on my desk. But I try to spin it in a way that it reminds me to never place a bet again. So I try to use the negatives in my life that I wasn't able to overcome, but spin it in a way where I can use that as motivation. Like, hey, there's a reason why you have this stupid I'm twitchy right now. I'm all like twitchy and shit. It's so annoying, right? But it's like, again, it's like the perspective of I don't want to go back to those like bad days, right?
The way you still got your chips, I still got my chips. I do that with my dices, man. I got a couple dices, and sometimes
Oh, you do that with dice?
yeah, man, dice is my thing. And but I have the same thing. Like I got a couple things, man. Like a couple. Oh. All right. All right. When I used to gamble, right, it's kind of like yours, but not really. So I have these 3 Buddha statues here, and depending
Hey.
on the day, depending on what I felt, I would take one, put it in my pocket, and because they're all different, right? And then I would feel that was my lucky charm. And
Oh, you're the physical good luck charm.
yeah, man, I needed that.
Yikes.
If I didn't have it, I would always blame it. Oh, I lost because I didn't have my Buddha. Oh man, I didn't chose the right Buddha. Crazy, man.
Isn't it wild what like being addicted to that world does to you?
It's stupid.
It changes the way you live your life, the way you think about it. It's very bizarre.
The reason why the main reason why I went vegan is because I wanted gambling luck. I wanted a superior energy than people who ate death. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, really?
So I didn't go vegan for the animals. I didn't go vegan because I cared about that. I went vegan because I felt like you would, if you had a clean energy, you would get statically pulled to the winning table, to the winning. The karmic energy would bring you to because you're doing good. You have no dead animals in you. So that's why it was important to not have dead animals in you. And if you did have a trace of it, if you want your luck back, you have to fast for 3 days. So, and when I tried to explain that to like the psych doctor guy, he was like, "No, man, no." Yeah, he wasn't buying that.
You probably thought you were crazy.
But really, it's truly because of gambling luck. I would come up with these things and I used to live 10 minutes away from the casino. That's why it's like I was destined.
Bad.
Yeah,
that's
man,
real bad.
Because I would go home and I would do something and I would feel lucky and I'd go right back there and I would win. So I would tell myself like, all right, the reason why I won is because I did all the dishes and I did all this and I did all this perfect and I closed the door 2 times and I'm good, man. And I had all these like routines. My friends couldn't gamble with me at the last little bit because I was too crazy. I couldn't park if there was a red car on my way there. Like if I saw a red car, I'd have to zoom around, go somewhere. I couldn't be in traffic beside red cars. If I were to park, as soon as I see a red car, it's game over. Turn around, do something else, and come back later. And my friends were like, "Man, this is crazy. Why are you doing this?" And the other thing too is when we get out of the car, we can't slam the door. And like sometimes I would just, bro, you slammed the door. And they're like, not this again, man. I'm like, yeah, we got to go. I'm not going to the casino. You slammed the door. We're going to lose. And I was super serious on this, man. Superstitions. Wow. Yeah. Oh, no, it's crazy. And it's all because at some point, when I did something stupid like that, it paid off at the casino. And I'm talking big chunks of cash, like rubber band money, man. Not like little $200. When they give you a rubber band, you won a big chunk. And then so you keep trying. Yeah, man. And you keep trying to get those stacks. Everything else is disregarded. And you come up with these formulas of luck and sequences that seems to pay off. That's why I got so crazy with it. But I'm like, even when I self-excluded myself at the last time there, I had my phone, I had my Buddha, and I'm like, here I go again, man. I'm right back to where I was before. Like same shoes, same losing, out of control. Not being able to stop yourself is the scariest feeling. Like not being like you can't take it out in another $1,000, but then you walk there with your sorry eyes and you take out $1,000, and then like the most devilish shit happens. You start winning again, so now you disregard everything and you're on fire. They like pretty much train your brain to become bipolar, a fake bipolar of up and down, up and down, up and down, and now psychosis, because bipolar people, they think they're onto something and they go all manic. Same with the gamblers. They think that they're on to something. They're winning and winning. And next thing you know, man, they leave the casino. Their mind is still right there, pumped and primed and ready to go gamble some more. It's a no control feeling is what I find it so scary with it. And that's why I felt like it was important to share it, because I had $50,000 within 4 months, just totally on these like pills and trials. Within 4 months, lost it all, man. Like,
damn,
fuck.
bro.
Yeah, not just $50,000, $7,000 in stocks, and now I was thinking I'm gonna go sell my car and keep the cash to go gamble to get all my money back. Like I was convincing myself that, and I got home and it was 3 o'clock in the morning. And I told myself, okay, man, you know, I got to tell my dad. I got to tell my dad. And I didn't go to sleep. I just went home total loser. And I knew if I didn't tell my dad, I was going to like some type of Facebook marketplace to sell my car, man. So I didn't sleep at all. Waited for my dad to wake up. I go talk to my dad. I'm like, Dad, I'm a gambling addict again. Because again, it's my second time that I self-excluded. So back when I was 23, same shit happened where I was a no good fucking loser, gambling all the time, always gone. And finally I needed help, self-excluded for 5 years. Now 5 years later, finished with all this money that I've accumulated, all the success that I've gained. And then the injury happens. And then boom, next thing you know, I didn't tell anybody what I was doing. I was in my own little world. And so that's exactly at this point here where I'm telling, I want to tell my dad. So in the morning I say I'm a gambling addict, and he's like, "Fuck, not this again, man! Like, what are you gonna do this time? You gotta do something now." And so I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go self-exclude." And I'm like, "Do you want to come with me?" But he couldn't come with me. We had a Chihuahua at the time, and the thing that happened too is this, man, is that I became the biggest liar ever. So I had my money, I had the apartment, I was good. Next thing you know, I tell my parents, I'm like, "Man, you know, I want to buy a house, so I'm gonna come back and chill here and save up for a down payment on a house." And you know, and I proved them. I had big chunks of cash, and I was doing really good. So they trusted that. But within 3 weeks of telling them that, you know, I'm $5,000 away from having a down payment on a house, bam! I just self-sabotaged it all completely, man, without control, without being able to stop myself, just totally peak addicted and needing my money back. Like, you just man.
Chasing your losses, right?
Oh yeah, endlessly. Just, and the thing with, I guess, the compulsive nature is you don't forget the numbers. You don't you don't just take the loss and forget about it. Because for me it's like this. And when I didn't gamble, every single paycheck, every single penny I got, every minute is counted. Like, nothing is wasted. And I would get furious if I gave a smoke to someone and I saw that they wasted. I'd never give them a smoke again. Just cheapskate. And yeah, but the gambling just totally took that firewall away from my life and just made me just, yeah, man, it's cool, it's fun. And, you know, playing sitting at tables, $2,000. What the fuck, man? And it's just because you saved a lot of cash, but now you can have fun. You have no control. So that's why I ran out of money so fast. It's because I kept on thinking like, wow, free candy, you know, and just taking my own money that I worked hard for and just spending it stupidly because I was under the influence of the pills. And that's another reason why, if you had a license to gamble and the doctors were able to say, no, you shouldn't have a firearm, no, you shouldn't be gambling, you know, you're under pills, you shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, it would save a lot of people, and it would have saved me in that situation. I would have not been able to go there. And man, my pupils were like dots, like just on opioids, you know, just totally not sober. But yeah, come on in, bud. And
that's crazy. Oh my gosh, that's so wild. Holy shit.
Yeah, man, I've been gambling for 10 years solid. Like, that's why I have a lot of craziness with it. At the age of 18, where your brain is developing, supposed to get educated, I was just getting brainwashed and consumed by the beast of the gambling addiction, man, and all the wonders that comes with it, the spirituality that you tap into to try to find more luck and praying to the right one, and you know, never ending.
Yeah, I started at 18 too. That's when I started playing poker. I think 2000. Yeah, 18. Yeah, I was 18 years old when I first started. And when you're 18, you're like an idiot. You don't know anything,
young, man. Yeah.
Your decision making is so poor. Like, it's mediocre at best. Like, it's just, like you don't know anything about the world. You don't know anything about life when you're that young. And to get into something like going to the casino with your buddies, you know, and having a good time. Well, actually, wait, here the age is 19.
Yeah,
I think.
Ontario is 19. Quebec is
Ontario,
18.
yeah, Quebec is 18.
Yeah.
Ontario is 19. Yeah, so we have 1 year of leeway, I guess. But still, like I found underground games in Toronto,
Oh yeah,
backyard games,
definitely.
home
Poker is a
games.
big thing for school, like older school fellas,
Mhm.
man.
Yeah,
College.
but you know where my story is kind of messed is like the poker wasn't the problem for me. I was always fine with that, but like what really crushed me towards the end was I love basketball. Like I love the Raptors for like I watched them my whole life, and then I
Oh
started
man.
sports betting, right? And pretty much like the worst thing happened to me where it's like, you know, you deposit $100 and they have, oh, first time deposit bonus gives you an extra 100. Okay, so I'll deposit 100, start off with 200. This is the same concept that poker websites have. And so I started off with like $200. You know, I'm just like, don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like playing. And I played this one like massive tournament, this massive like $10, $20 tournament. And I came like second or third place,
Oh
and I
nice.
cashed for like $2,000 or $3,000 in like the very first week that I deposited the money. So now I have this distorted perception of like, oh, I'm a pro sports bettor. I know basketball. I've watched the NBA my whole life. I can do this. And so I started like betting on every single Raptor game. And then I bet on every single Raptor game and all the big teams like the Lakers and the teams that I knew. And then it was I bet on every single team, every single game, every single night. And it was crazy. And I was like, holy shit, what is this? I'm like, what is this? And it's like your mind, it just makes these irrational decisions without even thinking. It's almost like your body is on this weird autopilot and you don't even know what you're doing. And you're just going and reacting. And then you're just like chasing that dopamine rush, and then you're chasing your losses, and it just like spirals out of control. And I was like, bro, this is so crazy. Like, and what made it worse is my brother is like very successful at sports betting, right? But he takes it super serious. He's like one of like those math type of people, right? He takes it super serious, and he does well, and he also used to play poker. But I'm like, oh, if he can do it, I could do it. And my friends also do it too. So I had like the worst environment to try to get that out of my life. But it's like I know what you mean when all of a sudden you're just acting, but you're not thinking
Oh
clearly,
yeah.
right?
Total no control, man. It's like that's you're yelling at yourself in your own mind, and you're just still going there. The way I see it is this: it's kind of like, let's say all you had to do was paint. Let's say to paint a Picasso that's worth like $1 million, for example. All you have to do is a tap of a button, and then eventually you end up getting nicer and nicer paintings. Every button you're pressing, paintings, it's the sense of like the jackpot that's coming. So all you have to do is do this, and eventually you get a big painting that comes around, and all you had to do for this masterpiece, for this $1 million, is to press that button, and then you get it. Now, I think that's part of the reason why I was so hooked to it. Is just because I got rewarded a few times, and I've seen people that got rewarded a few times. I said, man, last time all I did was press a button, so now all I got to do is press a button. I'll get my money back. And sports betting too. I got a massive like it
It's
got
bad, man.
annoying.
It's
Yeah,
bad.
man.
It's bad.
It's because it never ends. The strategies, the things you can do, the sort of it never ends. And same thing. I was exactly like you, where no matter what was going on, if I would hear somebody say, "Oh, did you hear about the injury that happened with?" I would think, "Oh, there's an injury happening here. All right, they're playing versus that. Okay, now I'm gonna bet on the team with no injury." So just and I had to do it. Like it was my mission until the end of the day or before that game would happen. If I heard any sort of little, and sometimes it would be like useless information, I would just go off of it like I'm the king, and I would tell everybody at work, you know what I heard, blah 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 blah, Kyrie, blah blah blah, and then everybody's just following each other's lead, just wanting to be like the successful gambler that we all seem to know, man.
Mhm.
It must be worse that man. That's why I did it. I knew one and wanted to be like him,
Dude,
but
the stupid information stuff is funny. I had this one irrational strategy where I knew that LeBron James's birthday was like December 30th or something. It's like at the end of the year, and whenever he played on his birthday, he always did well, and I would bet like all this money on like it was at Cleveland. He was in Cleveland at the time, right? I'm like all the money on Cleveland. It's LeBron's birthday. Like what does that have to do? You know what I mean? He probably just wants to get out of there and go party. But I had this like stupid strategy of always betting on his birthday. It was crazy.
Oh,
It's just like
man.
makes no sense, right?
You vision them. That then I know exactly. It's hard to explain, but I've done the same thing where I said I know him. He's not having a good time with an ankle sprain right now, and he's not gonna. And they need him, so without him, they're fucked. And,
Yeah.
This is easy money. Then I lose. And
Well, I just want to Google his actual birthday if it is the 30th. That's if my memory is. Yeah, see, December 30th. Yeah, see, it's so I still remember it. Like I still remember it now. Like it's so bad. So stupid.
I remember it was a Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor, and there's a guy, Conor McGregor's got like super fans, and he was like an MMA fighter and my coworker guy, and he's like, bro, yeah, man, I'm betting on Conor, and it was Dustin Poirier's second fight. I'm like, man, I'm betting on Dustin Poirier right now, and he's like, no, he was yelling at me like, you're stupid. That time with my $3,000, I ended up flipping it to $6,100 for betting on Dustin Poirier. It was yeah, man. So went back to work the next day, and now this is what happened too. The app that I would play my sports bet on had the casino app, so I would just yeah, man. Then I was playing $33 spins on lunch break and just
shit.
Destroyed $6,000 in no time, man.
Oh my, $33 spins. Oh,
yeah, that's where. Yeah, it's. I don't understand how that's legal. How it's legal to have big bets like that you can place in your own home or anytime you really want, like without any sort of supervision of professional. You can be in your bed and spending $33 a spin. And I was doing that. If I wasn't betting at least $15 on my phone, I wasn't getting thrilled like I was at the casino. So big bets and chewed my money really fast. But I won so much money, man. Like 3 days after Christmas, I ended up winning $9,100 just off playing those big bets. And
wow.
So that's why, like, I don't know. It's very hard to explain to people how or why you're as addicted as you are. And it's like when I mention chunks of cash, they kind of get the picture. But there's some nights, man, where $11,000 where it was in my hands, and I walked out with just like crumbs. So explaining that to people and telling them like, man, all I did was, I walked in with $700 and I got $11,000. So you're convinced that that's all you have to do to win the lottery now, man, is make this happen. And the feeling of having a massive chunk of cash is just crazy. What goes on in your mind and, what I can do now with it.
And it's also like the what if.
Like,
the what if I hit my number? What if it's my lucky day? What if I get that hand? And what's really bad is I don't have very memorable moments of ever winning massive amounts of money. It was always smaller. But I remember one of the very first time I went to Vegas, I was playing poker at some casino, and they had this like bad beat jackpot in the poker room, and it's like, oh, if you get I think it was like if you lose with a straight flush or if you lose with 4 of a kind aces and you win this jackpot, the odds of that happening is like super small. And it happened at my table.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and this lady won like $46,000. She had
I know those games. I know exactly the ones
she had like pocket aces, 2 aces came up, so she made quad aces and she lost to like a royal flush or a straight flush or something like that.
Oh, man, and won the big one.
We all saw it. Right. And it's like, oh my God, the lady like right in front of me, she won like it was like 46,700, like some obscure amount. And then they gave every single player at the table like $200. So then I got $200 out of it. And I was like, oh, this is like wicked. And again, it's like I had these stupid sheer luck moments where I won an amount of money that was just pure luck. And it happened like right in the beginning. And that's what always got me hooked. Is whenever I did something, I had like this random event happen where I didn't win thousands, but winning at $200, like the first time you play, like, oh, this is awesome, right? And you feel like that you can recreate that scenario for whatever reason. Oh, maybe I'll get the 4 aces and I'm gonna win the next jackpot. It's just that like mentality you have, it's so hard to think rationally, right?
Oh,
When you start winning money, and it's so difficult to understand, like to explain to people, to have them understand, because they'll be like, oh, what do you mean? Like, that's not going to happen to you again. But like in the moment, it's so hard to tell them like what you're thinking, and how irrational of a decision that you're making, right?
yeah. Oh man, especially in poker, man. When you have to buy in again after going all in and you lose a big one, and you're like, "Oh, do I buy in again?" And you know that you probably shouldn't, but then you go again just because of all the what ifs. What if I walk out and it would have been my two aces this time? That
Mm-hmm.
I had the biggest problem with walking away. Just when I would lose, I would win at the very last second, and then that's just what kept me teased and like, oh man, what is this? I was just about to go home. Now I have a big chunk of cash that I have to deal with again. And
Mm-hmm.
super hooked on that. But
Yeah, bro. How are you now with like the urges to go to the casino, to bet on your
um,
phone? Like how?
I'm self-excluded from Ontario indefinitely, and I'm self-excluded from Quebec for 5 years. So Ontario, I can't gamble there at all. And being banned in Quebec, it's really hard right now. Gambling on your phone, just because my postal code, I think, is what's flagged, or there's something that's flagged. So and I've tried it many times. I tried to go on Poker Stars. I got crazy Poker Star cravings, man. Sit and
Oh,
goes,
really?
yeah. And I dream of sit and goes, man. I used to play $50 sit and goes all the time. But and I try a lot, and I still get these invasive emails that are like, even from Poker Stars. I'm banned. My account says no, this account is not valid anymore. Or, so PokerStar is not the only one. Leo Vegas, a lot of little sites, but I stopped trying just because there's no possible way for me to gamble on my phone unless I use a crypto app. And I don't want to go to crypto
Oh,
casinos. That's just garbage. It's fucking stupid, man. So
yeah.
I've been all right, but I know that if I wasn't like if I wasn't self excluded, I don't think I'd be Mr. Anti-Gambler. I'd be Mr. at the poker tables right now and just chilling.
Mhm.
I love that, man. I love the environment of just you're there in your seat, and then you become like the boss if you're there for a long time. You get to know everybody that sits down there. You know their story. You know that what they walked in, what they walked out of. And you kind of, and the more time you're there, the more you kind of the chameleon skin completes, and you're perfectly blended into your own
Mhm.
zone and environment. And that's what I miss right now. I'm like a chameleon that's I don't know where to blend in anymore. Nothing seems familiar, and it's a fallen bull everywhere I go, and it's just trying to find myself again. But deep down, I spent 10 years in front of blackjack, in front of poker, in front of slot machines. Generally, poker is where I wanted to sit the most, man. And
Oh, really?
it's poker's been a very important thing for me in my life, because as a guy that's a dropout, um, where in the world have I ever seen 20 grand cash, and where have I received that 20 grand cash? It's from playing. I went all in with $4,000. The buddy went all in with, like, he had a big chunk of cash, which was like a 12 grand, and then so with my little chunk of cash that I went all in with, and I was the receiver of the money. After five guys going all in after the round on the last card, um, I had that 20 grand, right? And I was like, holy shit. So for
Holy
for
cow.
for yeah, for a fuck up to do these things and to end up like seeing wealth for the first time ever, holding it, just holding the money, and knowing that you used your brain to get it, but it's not quite your brain, it's a lot of luck. And then that's what, like, even at work, I used to tell myself, okay, man, the work is fun and all, but I'm not going to get 20 grand here in one shot. Like, so I would just disconnect everywhere. And I just literally want to be right there, man. Right there,
Mm,
playing poker
yeah,
with the
yeah,
dogs. Right
yeah.
there. That's my
That
secret,
famous
man.
picture.
Yeah, bro. I don't
Oh,
think I'm done.
man.
I don't think I'll ever be done. And I think that's why it's important for me to keep on this, because my plan is this. Sorry. In 5 years, I plan on self-excluding indefinitely in Quebec on video. So just to like add more to the channel. So it's a 5 years long game plan that I have with this. But now when I'll be banned indefinitely from Quebec and Ontario, guaranteed I'll be living a pretty peaceful life without worrying about the gambling shit too much anymore. The fact that I'm on a time limit of 5 years makes me worried, because 5 years flew by so fast last time. I accumulated a brand new car, $50,000, stocks account, $5,000 away from being able to buy a house. Like all I know this time is that for me not to fuck up is to be banned indefinitely from Quebec. Then the answer would be something like, no, I can't gamble at all. I'm good, and I don't have any cravings because I know it's not possible. But the fact that I still hold on to the idea of 4 more years I'll be able to go back to my seat. That's what's keeping me in danger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's scary because 5 years can go by like in a blink of an eye. Like
Yeah,
it can go by quick, and it's something that it's scary for me because when I started gambling, I could blow my money in it, and I would be the only one that would feel the consequences of that. But now, as I've aged, like I recently moved last year. Um, I have a wife and I have 2 kids, so I have like it's not just about me. Like I have people that really depend on me, and if I were to lose my shit and go crazy and go off on a bender and just like blow a whole bunch of money on stuff, it's not just Derek who would suffer, right?
it's
It's like
everybody else in the
future,
bloodline.
yeah. And so like that's something that I'm very cognizant of. I'm very aware of when I think about um, like you said, like planning for your future, right? And it's hard for me because I come from a family of gamblers. So like my parents, both my parents and my brother, we all grew up playing poker. My mom plays poker. Like everyone is big into like just I don't know what I don't know what it is, like a gambling family, a gaming family, like something like that. And so like every Christmas or every time I go see my parents, like we have like poker chips, we have poker table cloth, cards, we have like the dealer button, like we have everything, and we always play. And so like I'm never going to be able to just get away from it because it's always going to be around me in one
It would
sense.
break tradition too, and breaking tradition with family just sucks, man.
Yeah, right. And it's tough because I have to figure out a way where I can just play for $10 and that's it. Whereas before I'd play for $10 and after the game is done, we eat dinner. Me and my brother would check the betting lines on Pro Line or whatever it is for the basketball game. Then we bet like on every single basketball game. Then after that, and then we would play poker heads up for cash on this. Like it always escalated to
Yeah,
more. So now I'm like, I have to find a way where I can just control and just do the game with my family for $10 and then call it quits. And then that's it. And so that's something that I'm very diligent on working on. And that this is like my concern why I like to talk about this gambling stuff because I have to find a way to like live with it for
yeah.
like the rest of my life.
If it's bottled up, then that's when the big mistake happens because you have no outlet, man. It's just in you, and then next thing you know, it's not just like it could have been a regret; it's a real regret. And the thing
Mm-hmm.
too is that, like, that's what I that's what I'm kind of thankful for my situation, but at the same time, it's admirable in you to do that, to realize that it's not your money, it's like your generation's money, and every
Mm-hmm.
dollar counts and it affects everything else, like the domino effect, and that and that's where I'm realizing now that gambling is fucked, man. Because I 50 grand away. I was about to get a house. I lost my girlfriend, man. My girl was like this, like and we had all these plans going on, and I kept on telling her for about 2 years, 2 years of solid, and me recovering from my substance abuses, and her pretty much making sure that I'm on track and every day checking up on me, making sure we're happy and we're growing. The goal was to get a house, a triplex, do an Airbnb, live upstairs in one, and then
Oh,
maybe
that's good.
Airbnb the other. We had a massive plan, man, and then I just totally ghosted her, like just totally ghosted. And the reason why I ghosted, I kept on telling her, I'm like, I'm having a hard time communicating. I'm sludged up on the pills. And then she was like, well, you can talk to me about anything you want. But deep down, I wanted to say, like, fuck, I've been gambling like crazy. But I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't. I couldn't admit to that until finally I couldn't take her on a nice date. Why? Because I'm like, oh shit, well, I need to my money, my money. Well, aren't you good? Well, like your money. And, eventually, and I kept on lying to people saying, like, I still have 50 grand. Deep down, I had 30 grand. Then I like, oh, I still have 50 grand. And that next thing I have 15 grand. And then I'm telling people, I'm like, yeah, man, I got 60,000 because I've been saving good. Next thing you know, I have 10 grand. And
Ah.
in my account. The thing that would happen with me is I'd have big stacks of cash, but never put it back in my account ever. It would all strictly go back to the casino eventually. My wins would just accumulate in cash form, and then I'd end up playing it all eventually. Never putting my money back in my account ever. The only time that I would get my money back in my account was from online casinos, and then I'd end up gambling at the real casinos after. As soon as the COVID opened up the doors again, I was the first one in the casino, man.
Oh wow.
Stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah. See, it's tough that. Do you still live 10 minutes away from the casino?
No, not anymore. That we moved away from the house.
Okay, that's good.
Maybe
That's good.
5 years ago. So now, if I want to go in that 4 months, I have to drive like, I don't know, half hour back and forth. So not that far, but still close enough to. Man, every time I go home from work, I see the casino. It's there.
Oh my god.
So
that is so bad.
Yeah, and
so
like
bad,
with the big Hilton hotel, and it's just all your memories, all the flags, all the, especially at nighttime. At nighttime, I tell myself, if I want to ruin my night, look over there as I'm driving on the highway. Because if I look there, I see the casino, and all my memories start going. So I gotta like look over there and make sure I don't look at the casino.
Wait, which casino is that?
Lac Lime.
What city is that in?
Quebec.
Okay, no, I don't know that one.
You gotta check it out. Oh well,
I've been to a bunch out east. I can't remember the names though. Like I've been to a few in Montreal.
The big Montreal casino near the mall there.
Yeah, and I also went to the Montreal Poker Club. That was insane. It was amazing. Man. Oh my god, I didn't want to leave. It's so like I had to drag my ass out of there. That place was amazing. Oh my gosh, like the Montreal, I don't know what it was called, but it was a poker, like it was only poker. Like that's like it was all about poker. I was like, this is my dream, bro. I don't want to leave.
Man, if I would have known about that, it probably would have saved me a lot more. My problem was this: is winning and then walking in that maze, man. All the slot machines, all the extra games, all the temptations, and I just falling victim to them all.
They do it on purpose, right?
Yeah,
it's like by design.
The maze effect, and I used to say like, they're not gonna get me this time. I'm too tired for this shit. Just walking, after a 12-hour session, man. And next thing you know, you're just there with your eyes barely open, just stuck on a slot machine, just spending everything you won. Then you're convincing yourself, maybe I should go back to the poker tables. And I used to go like 24 hours, no sleep, just gambling like a zombie. I'd put in like 15,000 steps on my phone, just walking around the casino.
Jesus, that's so crazy. You know what was hard about having cash? There was one year my dad bought me a safe for my birthday, like big safe. He's like, here, so when you win money, put it in here. And I'm like, when I win money, shit, okay. So I still have it now, like this huge, I don't know what it's made out of. It's like this massive metal safe. So I put like birth certificate and proper stuff in there now, but before it was all hundreds. Like it was just those brown polymer $100, because the casinos here, they all just use those. They use hundreds, right? I just had like stacks of them, and again, it would never go into the bank. It would just go into the safe because that was the funds for the next time I go to the casino, and it always stayed there, and it never made that transition from being deposited into the account, right? Which is
it's like a stack of play money.
It feels so, something about feeling like just stacks of bills. It's so satisfying. It's a very strange thing. I don't know how to describe it.
I know how to I know what you mean, man. I remember that one time I had a big chunk of cash. Okay, $5,000. It was just $5,000 and my friend was like, "Bro, can I please hold it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man." Here, and he was holding on to it, but I was looking at it like, don't like, And then when I got my money back and I'm holding that money, it feels like now you can achieve dream world in real life. You can go do all these fun things that you wanted to do, and all the dream world, man. I don't know. I used to get really tempted with movies like The Hangover. The Hangover. Yeah. I used to, man, I want a night like that. I want to go to Vegas and have a good time. I think that was Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm starting to disconnect with the gambling thing because I'm actually starting to crave it a little bit. In my eyes, I'm thinking about like, man, maybe I should have just been a poker player. You know? Damn.
Yeah, it's the poker thing is interesting because you're playing against other players, right? You're not
Yeah.
playing against the house, so it is actually possible to be a winning player, which is like what I was for a long time. But like just being in the proximity of where the poker room is located at the very back corner of the casino, and like you said, you have to walk through the blackjack tables and the roulette tables and the craps tables and the slot machines just to get to the exit. Like it's so hard to take your stack of cash and just leave the building and not, oh, let's just, let's throw $50 on roulette. And this is something my brother did. Every time we finished playing poker, as we would leave, he would put um, two green $25 chips on his favorite number and his girlfriend's favorite number, right? And then it pays what, 35 to
Oh,
1.
it's a good one.
Yeah, and then when you hit and they put that glass thing and they put it on,
Yeah.
and then you get all these stacks of like it's. And he kind of introduced me to roulette, and I was like, wow, like you do this all the time. It's like, yeah, man, it's just $25. Your lucky number, and then you take it. But he was good. He would make one bet, one spin, and then he would leave. It was like his ritual, right? He would always do this at the end of the night. It was like a little bit of a thrill for him
Yeah.
per se at the end, right? But me, if when I tried to do that, I would sit for the second spin and the third spin, and then all of a sudden I'm cashing in $200, $300, $400 to the dealer, and they're giving me the massive stacks of chips, and now I'm just a roulette player, right? And that was like a level of self control that I didn't have when it came to the table games, but I had it in poker. Like I could play poker and then walk away, but it was the other games I couldn't. I for whatever reason I just couldn't find the willpower to just stop, and I would just keep going, and it,
I,
and it
I,
was it's terrible.
I have a lot of the same issues, especially the roulette, the blackjack, but the poker. Why I felt like it's because poker can go south so quick, man. Like you
Yeah,
know that, so it's easier to walk away from that one. But other ones, you feel like you might have a maybe a better chance to get that streak. It was blackjack for me, man. I remember these nights where it's like no matter what, even if I felt like I shouldn't have hit, I would win just nonstop, like boom, boom, winning 7 times in a row. And because you win like 7 times in a row, now you're walking around and you're losing everywhere else. You're just thinking, okay, I'm going right back to blackjack and I'm gonna start, you know, doing bigger bets and I'm gonna win 7 times in a row. And then you get teased, like you win 2 times in a row, but now you get instantly reconnected to that hot winning streak. And I think that's why it's impossible to walk away. Winning streaks is the biggest like hook for getting you addicted.
yeah, man. I know. It's so tough. But you know what's weird though? I never won shit in blackjack. I never won anything. Maybe because I just suck at the game, but I never won anything playing. I just always lost for whatever reason. But roulette, every once in a while, I'd hit like a number where I put a ton of chips on, and that was like the thrill for me,
Super
right?
adrenaline, man. Oh, I
Because of
know
the
that feeling.
odds, right?
Yeah,
It's like the 35 to 1, and you're just like, oh my god, I get this massive stack, and everyone cheers. But like you win a blackjack hand, it's like what, $10 or whatever you're
whatever you're betting,
Yeah,
nobody cares unless you're doing like a split and then a double and then get a bit of excitement and
yeah.
nope,
So
yeah,
it never caught on with me for whatever reason. But roulette was like it was it
yeah.
was just getting to me something. I don't know how to explain it. It's
I,
so messed up.
that
It's so
feeling,
irrational, right?
yeah, and it's the biggest adrenaline boost I think you can get in the casino is when you land your number. And I got so hooked to that I would just put like $800 all over the table, just
Jesus. Yo,
waiting
you're a
for that
serious
number.
gambler, bro. Holy
You
shit.
it's stupid. I'm ashamed of it. The thing is that I was young and stupid and no kids, and like very little responsibility. And I had a pretty high paying job. The demolition work, what we do, we unionized first of all, and then we get bonus money all the time if we do this and
Mm.
that. So the bonus money is big chunks of cash for a young kid. And, most of my friends were buying rims for their cars or something. And I
Oh
was just
wow.
yeah after the job. So when the building is done and everything is said and done, and here you go, boys. You thank you. They give us chunks of cash, or sometimes they would even, if they were too busy, they would give us chunks of copper. Like massive chunks of copper. And like, here you go, boys. Have a good time with that. So you
Wow.
get your hourly rate, and then you get your bonus money. And then sometimes if you're working out of town, now this is when I got the most money to gamble, is if I worked out of town and they were paying your travel, paying your hotel, paying your meals. And I wasn't even eating anything, man. I was just in my hotel and then going to the casino and so everything I was making, they pay your gas, they pay um so sometimes after tax it was something like $2,300 a week. So it was easy for me to go stupid if I would be, saving money for a month and then just
Mhm.
compulsively spending it all. Oh man, it was
Wow.
nuts. So
Yeah, that's wild, dude. Because
yeah,
I've never had money. Like I've always had like low paying jobs, low wage. Like I've never um been wealthy. Like grew up like, I don't know, I guess lower middle class or middle class, I guess you would say. Like I never had money. So for me, getting $200, that was a lot. Like that was a lot for even like now. Even there are some days now fucking still don't have much money, right? So it's like there's like levels to this stuff, right? Like some guys, like you were talking about earlier, like, oh, a doctor with the amount of money that I'm betting, that's like chump change for him. Like a
yeah.
doctor to $200, like fuck, that's nothing, right? But for some people like me, like that's a lot. Whereas other people, maybe you can't afford the $500 bet, or maybe you have like a massive business or a job, you're making a ton of money annually. Like it all varies from person to person, right? But at the end of the day, it's still like that money. You can't, it's like out of your control. Like you can't influence like the dealer or the roulette table with your good luck charm or your feng shui or whatever superstitious belief you
Tips.
have, right? It's just completely out of your control, and they're all like losing proposition bets at the end of the day, right? And it's like, for whatever reason, I always knew that, but there was times where I just couldn't get that in my head, or I couldn't understand that concept, and it was such a pain in the ass, man. It was such a struggle.
um you played a lot of slots?
No, I never played slots.
Oh no,
No,
man.
never. I don't know why. I never got into it. Yeah.
If you played slots, you'd be in more trouble than you are now, man.
Oh, really?
I at first, me and my friends, we used to like, don't play the slots. They're stupid. The money's at the tables. But eventually, I got curious with the slots and more and more and more into it. And they're just, if for OCD people or for people who are, they're the biggest weapon for your mind, man. They'll just distort you completely, and next thing you know, that feeling of not knowing why is just totally gone because you're like, so the roulette table, dopamine hits, the
Hmm.
rushes you get off you play it, they come around very slowly, you know what I mean? But a slot machine is like by the spin it comes, and a
Oh, I
dopamine hit, and
see.
sometimes you win $22 and the machine is like making crazy noise, and it's $22. Then you win $200 and the machine just goes like beep. It doesn't excite you for $200, like, but it's keeping you excited and thrilled for winning $30. And it confuses your brain to the point that, like, I really believe it makes humans retarded. Like it
Mm.
makes them just not process information because of all the colors and this the epileptic seizures that the brain is trying to control. These slot machines are just so crazy, man. You'd have to really experience it to know what I'm trying to say with this one.
Mm.
But it's just distorting the brain each button you do, and it's making you not understand the consequences of it, man, and thinking that it's good at making you think the jackpot is coming. That's why you never walk away from it.
Hmm. That's crazy. I saw a lady die once at a slot machine.
Oh shit!
They this is when I was going every single day. I take the bus every single day, and I remember it's this lady with like I think it was like an oxygen tank or something, and I walked by her. I went and I think I registered for the poker table in the poker room. And then I walked back, and all of a sudden there's like a paramedic there with like a stretcher. Like
Damn.
I was like, holy shit! Like what a way to go! You die at a slot machine, like Jesus. And then what was even crazier is that business went on as normal. They
Yeah,
got
like
her
it's
out of there,
nothing.
and as if nothing happened, everyone just went back to doing what they were doing. And I was like, I think a human being just died, like right there, and we're
Bro,
all just gonna act like that's okay and nothing, like, and
it's
just
messed
keep
up the way they
betting.
operate. I don't want to one up you. You know how people one up. I don't want to one up you.
No, what
But
up, me, dude?
okay.
I love good stories.
You can even Google this as I'm saying this, but check out. Sorry, check out Rideau Carlton Raceway. Man sets himself on fire in parking lot. I was in the casino that
What?
day. Yeah.
Oh,
So, bro, I was in the casino that day, and I was 18 years old, like just as young as I could be, and I was just finished cutting grass. I used to cut grass, and man, I remember somebody was like, somebody's on fire in the parking lot, and like nobody gave a shit. Everybody was just playing this live, and I didn't believe it until I walked outside, and they have the police tape all over the parking lot. The news article hit it, so it's on the news right now. I was there. The guy let himself on fire, self-immolation in the parking lot to set a message, and everybody was
shit.
gambling. Everything was cool. There was fire trucks in the parking lot and police everywhere, but the casinos was open. Everybody was gambling, and I remember when I walked away from there, I parked like and I don't know 3 sections away from it, but I remember just seeing the police. I was like, I'm never fucking gambling again. This is crazy. I understood the message, and I was there, and they kept on telling people like, you know, we don't want people to come outside in the public right here right now, so try to come in around in a little bit. We have to clear the scene. By the time I got home, like the next day, it was all over the news, and my dad was like, "Man, this is crazy. Did you see that?" I tried to tell him like I was there. You know, I was because that was the casino that was 10 minutes away, and I never forgot that feeling of nobody gave a shit, nobody. And
Yeah,
he's
business goes on, right?
yeah, man. Business goes on. The guy lit himself on fire and died in the parking lot. It's check it out, Rideau Carlton Raceway. Man lights himself on fire. It's fucked. It's fucked. But
Bro,
okay,
that that's crazy. See,
yeah.
this is when you know someone has been through the ringer, is when you have these gambling stories. This is something that's very common with everyone that I've talked to in this space. We all have these crazy stories that don't seem believable, of like just people dying. Like I made a video once about a guy had a seizure at a poker table and then he kept
Oh,
playing. Yeah, I made a YouTube video about it. That was he threw up all over the table and his
damn.
chips, and they gave him orange juice and we just kept going. I'm like, how are we still playing? He had an epileptic seizure like at
Oh
the
man.
table, and he like, oh, let's just wipe up the whatever the stuff that came out of his mouth and then just keep going. I'm like, isn't he gonna like, give him a break? Take him outside, like go for a walk,
Man.
get some fresh air? Like, no, just keep going. Crazy, like, but that's when you know, like, people have gone through the stuff that we've gone, as you have these insane stories that
Oh
that
man.
almost don't seem real, right?
Oh yeah. I got a story. My buddy lost at a poker game, and my friend stabbed him in the back. Like just
For
stabbed him in the
real?
back. Yeah, and they were still friends. Like the next day, drinking beer together. Just
What
yeah, man. Just out of drunken poker rage. Bam. Not at the casino. It's like at a game in the house there. But
mm,
yeah, man. It's messed up what really happens behind the. But I think it's the shoes fit, right? If the shoes fit, and everybody kind of, you know, I for me the shoes fit. So gambling the dice is. Uh, then it ended up being with my friends who had the poker chips at the house, and then it ended up being like $50 poker games, and then you find out somebody's always ripping people off, or he's always doing something that's not really normal. Like you know when they pull a slick one. So then I started getting more mental into my mind with this one, man, and um, I always ended up like around people who gamble. Just that's and then not only people who gamble, but people kind of troubled, you know, in a sense of drinking too much for no reason, smoking cigarettes for no reason, you know, and just gambling for no reason. It seemed to be like the thing we all did, the friendship circle we had, and then indulging of the substances. But I don't really use any of them anymore. And that's part of the reason why I don't hang out with those guys anymore either, is because I would go there to play poker, but then they're there, they're like, yeah, bro, yeah, you know,
oh,
yeah, and I'm like, bro, let's play the poker game, and they're like, yeah, and everybody starts talking, and it's like, man, there's the poker game, and like nobody cares. So I stopped hanging out with them and just at the casinos all the time.
mm-hmm. Yeah, not friend circle, but that group of people you spend your time with. I've noticed this a lot with pool players. Like whenever you go to like pool halls, it's like there's gambling junkies there, there's alcoholics there, there's guys addicted to coke. Like
Yeah,
that whole world, they're almost like all interconnected. Like anything with gambling and sports and pool or built, like anything where you can place a bet or gamble on, it has this the same type of people all seem to clump up,
yeah,
and they all
man.
have the same characteristics and addictions, and it's like it's the same story every single time, right? And it's like you have to get away from those people, right? It's like that old saying, right? Like, oh, you are the sum of the five people you spend your time with, right?
Yeah,
Everyone knows that saying, but it's like it's so true. And even though you might know that saying, but applying it to your everyday life for whatever reason is just so difficult, and it's so hard to just get away from those guys. And they're like parasites. They're basically like parasites. They drag you down to their level where they are,
absolutely.
in despair, and
They
it's an
don't want to
awful
see
place to
you
be.
do good.
Hmm. Exactly. It's yeah, it's really sad, because there's probably a lot of good, honest, hardworking people that just end up in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong group of friends that just happen to play this game or place a bet on that, and then it could ruin the rest of their life, right? Like that's what I think about this stuff when I see like these YouTube comments from people. Like and sometimes guys will, I'm sure you get this too, they'll be like,
Oh
bro,
yeah.
help me, bro, help me, I'm an addict, I don't know how to stop, bro, I need help. But it's like I don't know what to say to these people. I don't know how to help them, right?
I tried my best for a very long time. Like I took it like it was my job, man. Like I never for a long time I made sure to never miss a comment. But at a certain point I was getting bombarded with some pretty serious, like, some people you end up becoming friends with, man, and they check on your Gmail, and but next thing you know, they're telling you some stuff that's maybe a little bit too personal for like a guy on the internet. And I was like, I don't really know you, man, and the stuff you're telling me is kind of worrying me, and it's you're answering your own question. How do I get better? I don't know how to quit gambling. I don't know what's wrong with me. My girlfriend wants to leave me, and I don't know. And it's like, bro, you're telling me this, but like, you should go tell your parents. You should go tell your girlfriend. Tell your girlfriend that you want to stop gambling. Like, why are you telling me if you have a girlfriend? Like, and then now I get it, but at the same time, a lot of the advice that I want to tell people, I'm scared that it'll hurt their feelings and make them do something stupid. So it's like I bite my tongue now. I'm scared to be honest with people, even if they want my honest opinion. Just fearing that, because now there's many people on the spectrum of people that is their girlfriend, and but then there's other people that they seriously say, like, I'm gonna fucking kill myself and shit. And it's like,
Yeah.
bro, no, don't do that. And then when people tell me that, because I felt that way one time, and I told that to somebody who reacted wrong to it. Now, when people tell me that, like, it's my job to react to it like the way I wish somebody would have reacted to it when I said it. You know what I mean? But then that infiltrates your mental, like, you're just chilling, you're having a good time, and I can't even imagine with you're with your kids. But then you get a pop up of like some guy who's like, bro, I can't handle my gambling addiction. I'm losing everything. Please help. It's like it hurts your own mind. And now imagine if it hurts your mind, but imagine the minds of the people in that person's life that it's hurting. It's like that. It's the biggest. That's why I'm so pissed about gambling. Deep down, man, it's just, it shouldn't be a thing. It shouldn't. It's the ways of the past. When
Mhm.
pirates were running around and robbing from people. But now,
Yeah.
why is this still in action? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Causes
but
so much misery, man.
and you know what's so unfortunate about it too? Even if you want to try to push your idea of getting like a type of license or designation or certification to prove that you are of sound mind to place a bet, like gambling companies and casinos, they'll push back against that so hard. They'll probably
Yeah, man.
lobby their local politician to make, oh, this is unjust under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. We're
Oh
not
yeah,
doing
yeah.
anything bad. Everyone has free choice to not come. If they don't want to, they can leave at any time. You know what I mean? Like they're always going to push back against that, even though you might be trying to save people's lives, right? But at the end of the day, it might affect their business, right? So then they're going to see it differently, which is really sad. It's really sad, man.
It's messed up that their business is to invite people and then blame them for being fucked up. Like, you know, come on over, we got discounts and all the ads, man. The big thing for me is the ads, the things that trigger me. You know, the OLG, the OLG ad, it goes,
OLG,
bloom. It goes bloom at the end of the commercial there. You know that sound? When I hear that sound, I'm like, man, I gotta go gamble. I gotta go get my fix, you know, man. And so now the radios are pumping the sound. But now when you drive and it's like you're 45 minutes away from the casino, there's a sign that says casino in 45 minutes, like 45 kilometers this way. Like you're far away from it and they're telling you to come to the casino. They're inviting you. And then next thing you know, they're telling you like, oops, well, my bad, you lost all your money. You know?
Yeah, I know. It sucks. Well, anyways, bro, I gotta run. This was
me too, man. I'm starting to feel it. My brain's shutting down on me. Yeah, man, I appreciate this one. Whenever you want to do another one, and you know how I was saying the magic mushroom thing, I might do it if we ever do another podcast, bro.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm a huge fan of that stuff. So tell the listeners where they can find your work, plug your channel, Instagram, or any of that type of stuff.
MrAntiGambler. MrAntiGambler. I'm going to leave a comment too on this video, so you're going to be able to click on it and come check it out. And then I got a Twitter that I just activated, so it's not popular at all. MrAntiGambler, and then MrAntiGambler on Twitter. So that's it. And thank you, Derek, for having me here, man. This was awesome. Good chat. And I was a little bit nervous, but you know what, man? Now I'm looking back at my I should have just chilled a little bit.
You did fine, bro. You did fine. You're an experienced YouTuber, so you know how to talk to the camera, so you're good.
I appreciate it, man. And this was really fun, and really looking forward for the next time that we talk about this, man. I want to talk to you about. Actually, I can't tell you right now, but there's a few things I wanted to know about conspiracy theories that you're into and stuff like that. And
okay.
But it's a topic for maybe the mushroom, man.
Okay, we can do a podcast after dark another time or something.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay.
All right, bro. Thanks, guys. Peace.
No
Peace.
problem. Take care, guys.